All right, welcome everybody to the first of two live watch-alongs with the co-main event of Jai Opetaia versus David Nyika. I'm really looking forward to that one now. Can't wait for it. The build has been really good. Even the little clip there, Liam was just watching with Volkanovski on, talking with Sky Nicholson and Parsons. I'm really looking forward to that. But before that, we've got a decent fight here. Justis Huni, Shaun Potgieter. A lot of people have been telling me about Potgieter. Like, he definitely, I believe, punches just as, if not harder than Justis Huni. It's just a case of, can he match him for the boxing skills, which I doubt in my opinion. But at the same time, I rewatched the Huni versus Kevin Lerena fight last night, and because I forgot actually what happened in the 10th and final round. Lerena had him all over the place. So look, is there a bit of vulnerability with the chin? I guess we don't know. Big up Rambler, hope you're well, my friend. Free money on Huni, he says. Look, if he blows him out, Liam, in a couple of rounds, I'll probably be impressed. I know he's been stopped, hasn't he? He's lost once. Potgieter, I think he was stopped once as well. He's never left South Africa. But if he blows him out in a round or two, probably, I'm saying impressive. I'm probably saying that a bit loosely, but that's what he needs to go out and do to prove a point, at least, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, look. It's good to see him out again so soon after his demolition of the buffet tray from Argentina that he fought last month, just before Christmas. And it's without being too disrespectful, this is another opponent brought over for him to put himself on the DAZN platform again. We know there's going to be 4 Matchroom Gold Star DAZN cards this year. We know this is number 1. Number 2 is being teased for the 22nd of March in Sydney, isn't it, today? We've heard plenty of that being teased by Eddie, by Sky, by some of the fighters. So
yeah,
himself in the short window, isn't he? I mean, they met Johnny Fisher's over. I think that's completely coincidental that Johnny Fisher's out in Sydney at the moment. They've asked him how he feels about Gold Coast. They've asked him how he feels about fighting in Australia. I wouldn't at all be surprised to see this fight being made later in the year.
I don't hate the fight whatsoever. It's a big fight. The Fishers have big appeal over in Australia. His dad does as well. Big up, Pat. Hope you're well, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Huni should win it, but let's see if Potgieter can get any of that. Get any of that power. Yeah, his dad's big in Australia, Liam, as well. I think they're doing some kind of like media tour next week.
Big John's on another one of his media tours, and Johnny's obviously not in training camp this time, so he's
Australia apparently.
Yeah, mate, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Huni's ranked by 3 of the governing bodies. I think the WBC is the only one he's not ranked by. Fisher's ranked by the WBA and the WBO, definitely. So that, in terms of rankings, it makes sense. There's a couple of minor trinkets on this fight. I think WBO is definitely on it. So let's see what happens. We're not expecting much, but it's also good to see Huni back out so quickly after his last performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick few comments to get. Oh, sorry, we're underway. I'm on 253, Liam, for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, perfect. So DJ Pat said, by the way, do you think the scorecard Shaun O'Keefe fight for me? Liam, that's probably one for you. I didn't watch any of the under.
Yeah, mate. That split decision. That split decision, Pat, was shocking, and Sky Nicholson said it perfectly on commentating. That's the scary thing with judges in boxing. It seems to have gotten a lot worse over the last 12 or 18 months. You can never be sure what a judge is seeing. That wasn't a particularly close fight. Shaun O'Keefe had won it 8-2 for me. I had it pretty wide, especially with a knockdown in there as well. So yeah, disappointing scorecards to start the year, but not a new problem.
Yeah, definitely. John T, the official, thanks for tuning in. The fight's only just started. We're just under a minute to go. Great head and body attack by Justis Huni there. Looked like he hurt the Potgieter, Liam.
Yeah, Potgieter's got absolutely no head movement there, has he? As he's throwing his punches, he's leaving his chin, side of his head wide open for Huni to attack. So, yeah, look, I think what we're expecting from this fight we've seen in the first 70 seconds, haven't we? Huni's going to get his work off. I mean, it's already gone further than the Teremaya fight did earlier, so that's progress compared to the other heavyweight fight on this case.
Yeah. Or is that low?
Yeah. It looked belt line, but if I'm Potgieter, I'm making the absolute most out of this and taking as much time as I can.
Yeah, he's had a bit of an onslaught early on, to be fair. It's an impressive start by Justis Huni.
Interestingly, Huni's already standing there in a neutral corner with his mouth open, breathing, and then we're 1 minute 32 left in the first round. That's not necessarily the best sign, is it?
No, not at all. It's got some interesting tattoos.
Oh, that was low. Sorry, that was low.
Yeah, it was low. Yeah.
I didn't realise how low it was until I just saw the
Potgieter. Yeah, I'm really just while the low blow breaks on, I'm buzzing for the main event, man. I really am. I cannot wait for Opetaia and Nyika. I'd be disappointed if Jai blows him away in a round. I want to see a fight because I've built myself up in my head now that we're going to see a fight. So, I just hope that Nyika can come and put in some performance. Huni back on, Potgieter here, then we're back underway. A minute and a half to go.
Big head and body attack again.
Yeah, this is impressive stuff by Justis Huni so far. South African, he's firing back. Oh, Huni's leaving himself open. We've got a bit of a barroom brawl breaking out.
This is what Rabati done in the first round, though, isn't it? Last month, Rabati had a dig in the first round, and then he just had nothing left.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the tactics to put on from Justis Huni, though, to be fair. I think he can win the fight without giving Potgieter these chances if they're going to exchange. But I'm not complaining because it's quite good action.
It's one of those. Huni's probably taking more shots than anyone would like him to be taking, bearing in mind we're in round 1 of potentially 10. But look, he's doing what he wants. I think he also realises at this point, I know it's heavyweight boxing, but maybe the power isn't there for Potgieter, so he's happy to sit in a bit closer than he ordinarily would. As he's now letting his hands go on the ropes. Potgieter looks in trouble here. Referee's having a close look. Oh, just the left hand back in the nick of time from Potgieter.
Yeah, the referee looks like he's going to jump in here.
He looked like he was about to before Potgieter landed a left hand.
He needs to calm that down. He's not really been badly buzzed or anything yet. Look at the ref. What's he doing?
To be fair to him,
Potgieter was... Stop this. He was ready to jump.
He's ready to go, isn't he?
He's firing back, ref. What, like, he was literally... If that right hand landed from Justis Huni, the referee was... He literally had his hand ready to jump in.
The one thing I will say, on the attack before he threw the right hand, Potgieter was sagged against the ropes, so I could see then. He shouldn't have jumped in on that last attack, but on the one before a right hand, he was sagged against the ropes and was shipping punishment. But an interesting first rounds.
Yeah, it was. I agree with Pat. I was about to say the same thing myself. Actually, there's definitely no way this is going 10. I'll be surprised if it goes 3 now, judging by...
Famous last words, boys.
True, very famous last words. But, Huni needs to sustain a couple of barrages, and the referee looks like he'll want to stop it. I wonder would he have jumped in like that if it was Potgieter doing that to Justis Huni? But I think not.
Mate,
anyone who's watching, though, you could see what the ref is literally sat there trying to. Let's see what happens now. I just think that it's poor refereeing that.
Yeah, as he's now.
Fair enough if he's been down 3 times. And do you get what I mean? I just think that he's like one big flurry here from Huni, and he's going to stop it. And Potgieter, yeah, fair enough. Huni won the first round quite convincingly, but it's not like he wasn't like badly staggered or anything like that. So just let him fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, good body shot again there from Huni. I mean, this so far is following the path of the Rabati fight, and all it's going to take, I think, is one of those big overhand rights.
The ref didn't jump in.
His eyes gone.
Yeah, it's going to stop it. It stopped it.
Yeah, stopped. Second round.
Yeah, well, okay. I don't mind the stoppage there, actually. I know what I spoke about.
Look at his eyes already closed over. His eye closed over from that right hand.
I know what I spoke about in the first round, but yeah, he was done there. That's fair enough.
Yeah, there we go. Look,
it's a good stoppage.
If they can get the camera on the other side of him, mate, look at his right eye. It's already closed and swollen up as soon as he took that hand.
Yeah, he's going like that, isn't he? He's uncomfortable. There you go, Pat. That's it. Justis Huni with a second round stoppage of Shaun Potgieter. Pure and total domination, really. Interesting that, because a lot of people commented on prediction videos. I put one out myself, and we did our one as a collective as well, where you and Jay gave your thoughts. And literally all the comments were telling me Potgieter. I don't know if they were South African biased or anything like that, but he didn't have a sniff there.
Justis Huni is also underrated in terms of what he's done so far, if that makes sense. Everyone looks at him and sees how inactive he's been, and seen that his signature wins Kevin Lorena and looks at it and goes, "Oh, there's not a lot there." But the reality is, Huni is leading the charge in the Australian heavyweights at the moment. Terramai is there, but Huni is up there, if that makes sense. He's well ranked with the governing bodies.
He's had way more. He's had double fights of Terramawano, hasn't he, as well? So
exactly.
And look, he was at the Olympics. He went pro, then went to the Olympics. So he's at a backward stage compared to. Look, we spoke about Huni, haven't we? We spoke. He fought and beat Kevin Lorena. He's fought. What's the guy he beat in Mexico called now? He's been around for. He was with the Money team. He's like a cruiserweight, but then moved. I can't remember his name now. But anyway, he was fairly established. He's got a couple of decent wins. His last 2 fights, he's blown the guy out in 2 rounds both times. It's time now for. I know he's only 25, but it's time now for Justis Huni to have. I'm not saying you sling him in with the likes of Bacoli and all those guys that are on the outside looking in. But he needs to. There's a gap in level. The guys outside looking in at the minute: Cabiel, Zhang, Bacoli, Fa Jagba. All those. I know those guys are probably going to be matched up to fight each other, but they're the. I mean, even Joe Parker before he's scheduled to fight Dubois. That's the level outside of the Fury U6. Even Dubois you can probably put in there at the minute. But there's a level below those guys now that Justis Huni definitely resides in. He needs to be matched up alongside another heavyweight. I mean. Can you think of anyone off the top of your head that kind of? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't hate the Jared Anderson fight. They're both the same age. They're both prospects. Probably bad matchmaking on Anderson's behalf.
Sorry, mate. That's what just came to me. Jared Anderson would not be a fight I would be against seeing. I think it would be a good fight at this time for both fighters. But everything you just said, mate, the handbrake needs to come off now. We all understand why he needed these 2 blowouts in his last 2 fights, if that makes sense. We get that, but he's done it now. Even if he comes out in Sydney in March, which wouldn't surprise me if that's what Eddie's about to say is going to happen, give us a good fight, give us someone in and around the top
15. McKean. 19-year-old Moses Town would blew him out in a round. He's Aussie. That's a big fight on an Australian card.
Yeah,
I'm not
Dempsey McKean isn't a bad shout, mate. I think what they do with him next is going to be interesting. He needs bigger tests. He needs top 15 guys. He needs names. I mean, what's he getting here? He's getting an IBF and a WBO belt.
IBF Pacific or something like that. Down the line this year, Huni versus Fisher, Bosch time down under. Yeah, look, we said that, Liam. Yeah, I think that's a possibility, most definitely. Just Mercer, thanks for joining us. Yeah, the fight's over already. Round 2 for Justis Huni.
Look, if we see Huni against Fisher at the back end in this year, be it in Saudi, be it over here in Oz, be it back here in the UK, I'm not against it at all. I think it's a very good fight for both of them in terms of where they're at. We'll get a lot of questions answered about both fighters in that because, look, Huni's there to be hit as well against both Rabati and in this fight tonight or this morning.
Yeah, he takes shots.
He's taking punches. He's taking shots he doesn't need to take. So there's progression there. Let's see what happens with him. I'm just going to mute this quickly, mate, see if he does say anything in this interview.
Yeah, that's all right. DJ Pat said Huni versus Anderson. Yeah, that's a fair point. Is that official, Pat, that Top Rank are joining the zone, or is it just rumoured? I know their ESPN deal is coming to an end fairly soon, but you look at Queensbury have joined. If the zone are offering you the money, the smart players a promoter right now is to go and join the zone, isn't it? That's where all the big fights are. Matchroom, Golden Boy, Queensbury. Even other promoters are working with them as well. The smart play for Top Rank would be to go to the zone if the offer is there. In my opinion, they're the Riyadh season affiliate as well, aren't they? So yeah, look, hopefully that happens. Justis Huni for me has to do a fight next in which it's not a 50-50, but it has to be a fight where there's some form of danger in it because he's not going to learn anymore by knocking people out in 2 rounds. Sonny, we're not allowed to do that, my friend, unfortunately, due to copyright reasons. But it's on DAZN, the fight. So yeah, you can find it.
Sorry, mate. I don't like what I've just heard from Huni at all. So he's just been asked, "Look, are you going to look to get back out on the Sydney show?" And his answer was, "Look, I've got some injuries I need to take care of, so you'll see me back when I'm back."
Okay.
I don't.
He didn't look too injured in there.
Well. The guy's just gone, "Can you tell us about those injuries?" And he's gone, "Nah, of course not. But if you keep an eye on my social media." I mean, let's see if Eddie says anything now. Give me a second.
Yeah. Eddie will give it the big sell. Don't worry about that. Saw him and Mick Francis loving it beforehand, afterwards. Sorry, I mean after the fight. Eddie's going to give him the big sell because they're trying to build so much in Australia. You know, we've got Liam Parrow, Sky Nicholson, Justis, Jai Opetaia, George Kambosos now. You know, they're all essentially co-pro by Matchroom, aren't they?
Yeah, that was a very non-committal Eddie Hearn as well. He's just tread the line of, look, Justin Huni's got the potential to be an Australian heavyweight champion. It's going to be a big 2025 for him, but we are not announcing any plans at this time. So that's very non-committal from Eddie as well. Interesting from Huni, though. Huni doesn't look the happiest, does he, standing next to him? He's just spoken about injuries, so...
He doesn't, no. But to be fair, like I said before the first bell, didn't I? You know, if he's gonna do it, go do it out in a few rounds. He dominated the first round and took him out early in the second. I thought it was a good performance. You know, especially like I say, given the amount of people who told me that Potgieter can bang and he's a good fighter and this and that and the other. So, you know, Huni went and dealt with him and took him out. But there's a reluctance to let the handbrake off, I feel. Eddie said about the Lorena fight when he got hurt, and I think Mick Francis and the rest of his team were kind of just like, okay, look, we need to just pull back a little bit here. You know, he is only 24, 25 years old, and we don't want him in too many wars. Probably similar to Johnny Fisher, the way that thing that happened with Dave Allen. It's like, okay, we'll give, you know, Fisher got through and Huni got through, but Huni genuinely did get through because he won the fight. Fisher was obviously debatable. But, you know, he might be dealing with injuries. He probably is dealing with injuries based on what you've said there. But, you know, 2025 now, look, we've said it's good that he's active. He fought on the Conor Wallace card last month. He's fought here now. You know, what is he going to get further out of doing these fights again? You know, you can't do this every month. You know, go rest up, heal your injuries, come back in the summer and fight Dempsey McKean, fight Johnny Fisher if he doesn't do the Dave Allen fight. That's the kind of you know, I don't think we see the Fisher fight, to be honest with you. I know he's only co-pro by Matchroom, Huni, but does that really make loads of sense, apart from the fact it could do big numbers down under? It could do big numbers in the UK as well, obviously, but down under's where the fight is, because Huni's not well known in the UK. Fisher's well known in Australia.
Yeah, look, Huni at this point, you've got another 3, maybe 4 of these DAZN Matchroom promotions in Australia this year. He should be aiming to get on 2 of them at least. If realistically, okay, if he sits out the March one, fine, fair enough. But they're talking about doing a big stadium one in the summer, aren't they? They're talking about doing a couple more come, you know, the back end of the year. Let's not wish 2025 away. But if you're Justis Huni, you want to be getting on at least 2 of these cards. That interview was very strange and very underwhelming and not at all what I was expecting that to be. It was almost as if he was saying, I don't know when I'm going to box again. I don't know what's going on. That was, interesting to see what comes out. I'll be keeping an eye on his social media to see if he says anything further off his own steam, so to speak.
Yeah, look, it is what it is. He doesn't strike me as the type of fighter that's going to get on the mic and call out every man and his dog. He strikes me as quite a reserved guy in general. I don't think, you know, he's well, I guess he's got Eddie's backing, hasn't he? But there's that many heavyweights going on now. You know, do they get him back in the Riyadh season fold? You know, he's already fought on there. I guess that's another option. Some injury for Huni. Pat says he'll be off for a while and back after that.
That's what I sort of got as well, mate. It sounds as if he's, we're not going to be seeing him anytime soon, which is a shame because, look, the momentum of what he's built, we want to keep seeing. So all remains to be seen, mate. There's plenty to come, isn't there? There's plenty of, as we keep saying, plenty of Aussie cards to come this year, but he's ranked within the top 15. So unless it's a serious injury, you like to think we'll see him back out because he's not going to want to just sit on a ranking with how quickly the heavyweight division's moving.
Yeah, no, most definitely not. We'll continue to have a chat. We'll preview now the main event until we get the ring walk, so we'll move over to the stream. That's enough for Justis Huni, I would say. I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. I know I've said it 3 times already. I hope and feel that David Nyika can Lloyd's in the house. Big up, Lloyd. Hope you're well, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Looking for the first upset of the year. Yes. Look, it would send shockwaves around the world of boxing if David Nyika can pull this one off in around about 10, 15 minutes time. I'm bought into the hype a little bit. This time last week, I thought, complete mismatch. It may still turn out to be that way. But I am more bought into the chance of David Nyika now, especially, studying his amateur pedigree and background. Do I think it's probably a little bit too early? Yeah, I do. But I love the energy out of him. I love the fact that his team didn't want him to take it and he's taken it. I love the fact that he's not getting paid enough money to the fact that he's only took it for the money. He clearly there and believes in himself. Does that mean he's got a chance of winning? It doesn't necessarily, no, but let's see, man. There's pressure on Jai Opetaia here. It's a homecoming. Every man and his dog wants him to win. Everybody's saying, the second coming. You've got a unification with Zurdo Ramirez as a carrot dangling at the end of the line. And, if he's looking past it, Liam, it's probably not the fight to be, the fighter to be in there with that you are going to look past it.
Yeah, look,
Yes, Pat definitely saw that. Should be a good one, March 22nd.
Yeah, Sky's been hinting at that tonight, hasn't she? As we got her and Eddie talking with Parsons at the moment. Look, I still think this is a routine defence for Opetaia. I think a lot of hype and a lot of the Trans-Tasman rivalry is sucked a lot of people in. I do think the reality is Nyika is not ready yet for Jai Opetaia, who for me is the number one cruiserweight in the world. He's the best in the division. I think that's where the gap is going to be too far for Nyika tonight. But look, we could be wrong. It could be the first shock of the year, as Lloyd's just said. And if it is, it sends huge shockwaves around the world. But I think the reality more likely is Opetaia to have to, buy this time in the first 3 or 4 rounds, but then get a stoppage in the mid rounds. I'm still on that hype. I'm impressed by Nyika, but Opetaia is a cut above, and I think it's come too soon for him.
Guy's been locked in all week, hasn't he? He's kind of has that steel in his eyes, doesn't he? Anyway, but I think he's really locked onto his target here. But look, I like what I'm seeing from Nyika as well. Yes, they've sparred many a round together, Lloyd. That was kind of the narrative coming in behind it, wasn't it? It was Nyika was like, I've sparred loads of Opetaia, I want him. I don't know if you saw in the build-up, like the notes he had on his wall that he wrote last year, like I will beat Jai Opetaia. He knows Jai well enough to the fact that he knows how good Jai Opetaia is, but B, he knows how that sparring went with Opetaia. So he clearly fancies the job. I'm sure he could have waited and received a shot at some point if he kept winning and remained undefeated and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, he can bang. He knows Opetaia, and he was advised not to take the fight. All of that noise for me makes me believe that he's full of self-belief. He's coming in to try and win the fight. He's not coming here to make up the numbers, and he's not coming here just to receive a decent payday, which I'm sure he is getting.
Sorry, mate, to cut you off, but straight away they're showing Huni in his dressing room with an ice pack strapped to his elbow, so that may be an indication of what he is. But
yeah. Maybe that's why he came out all guns blazing. Then maybe he didn't think that he had the rounds in the elbow or something.
Yeah, possibly. But I'm going back to Opetaia. Look, there's huge. Look, I'm sick of saying it, and everyone's saying it. There's huge carrots there. We know that Turkey's going to make him and Zurdo for. I think it's the 7th or 8th of May is the working date for that Saudi card. We know that's there. We know that's the opportunity if he wins this, and he's not going to want to slip it up. And a lot of people will probably say, well, why isn't he sitting and waiting it out? Why is he taking this fight? But we've said all week, we like this attitude. We like the fact he's not putting himself in a position where the governing bodies can shaft him again. He's taken care of a mandatory. He's taken care of a late replacement, remembering in Nyika as well. This isn't the original fight that was made. And you can't not praise him. And like a lot of people have him as his number one. I know you and Jay aren't as sold on him as I am. I'm very high on the hype train and think he's going to go after heavyweight and do similar. But we'll see tonight. Nyika's got the amateur pedigree, 2-time Commonwealth gold medalist, Olympic bronze medalist as well. So there's pedigree there, but it's 26-0 against 10-0. There's a certain apprenticeship you have to pay in boxing, and I don't think Nyika's paid that yet.
Yeah, I think, and Jai's been on big stages as well. You know, this is a big stage, especially over that side of the world, and you know, you don't know how you're going to handle it until you're under the lights. I think ultimately that's the thing. Nyika probably doesn't know how he's going to take it and handle it, whereas Opetaia, it's just another day at the office for him.
Look, no disrespect to Nyika, his biggest fight so far is out in Saudi on the first Fury Usyk cards, where he was the first fight of the pay-per-view portion, where not even Turkey was in his seat at that point. So if we're talking about the levels of experience they've had with big fights, he's a long way down. Whereas Opetaia, I think this is his 5th main event. He's obviously been on 3 Riyadh season cards as well. There's a difference just in that sort of stage as well. But a lot of people are saying they have a feeling this could be, you know, a sticky one for Jai Opetaia. And I'm not quite in that camp, but I can understand why people are saying it. And Nyika's turned this into something personal, and that's what he's had to do. And it's whether Jai's taking the bait or if he's able to stay focused in on what he knows he's able to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I believe we're probably about 5 to 10 minutes away from the main event now. I know they're feeling a little bit on the zone. They probably anticipated that Huni was going to be an early-ish finish. So I can't imagine that we'll be waiting too much longer for the main event Ringwalks, but we'll continue on here until there is some movement, because, you know, before you know it, it's 15, 20 minutes. You know, Eddie Hearn's having a little joke and laugh with the crowd here. But yeah, I believe it's been an A-side dominated undercard as well. Not really too many issues with the fighters expected to win so far. So Jai Opetaia can probably make the card go perfect. They're panning out to the crowd now.
I believe Sweet Caroline's playing. I believe what we're missing with the sound.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, that's why Eddie was giving it stacks. I do like them Australian venues. You know, similar to that Conor Wallace one we watched last month.
Yeah, so this is where Opetaia fought Bradis when he won the IBF belt the first time.
That's right. I've actually been in that building, but not in the arena. No, I actually lived in the Gold Coast for 6 months, many years ago now.
Great. Mate, I said on the Conor Wallace card, I love these dinner shows because it's a dinner show. Everyone's been there since the first fight on the undercard, because we've got a set timings for the meal. So the atmosphere has been popping off in there for I turned it 20 past 8 this morning, and it was buzzing then. So it's good for boxing. It's good to see. Interesting. Were you watching when there was the power cut earlier, when they had the complete power cut?
I didn't see. I heard about it.
Striking lightning outside, and there's complete power cut. Break between round 7 of the what fight was it you wanted to come on for before Huni?
Ben Mahoney.
Ben Mahoney, yeah, it was between round 6 and 7 in the Mahoney fight.
That'd have been funny if one fighter was just on the floor unconscious after a power. Well, it wouldn't be funny if they were hurt, but like imagine one fighter was on top and
it's lucky it was between
the lights come back on, just sparked out.
Mate, it's lucky it was between rounds and not literally in the middle of the
action. No, imagine that. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, that was a sketchy 5 minutes. I can imagine there was a few people's who was having a bit of squeaky bum time.
Jobs on the line on that one. Jesus.
Well, this is a pay-per-view as well.
Sweet Caroline playing, he says, in the arena. Yeah, I do like it, mate. I like the atmosphere. I like the setting.
You think that this is a pay-per-view, so it's a $30, so that's the equivalent of 17 quid or something like that at the moment, pay-per-view. So yeah, that power cut probably gave a couple of people a bit of a mini heart attack for a couple of minutes there, didn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Yes, Pat Lightning Strike, that's the one, my man.
The weather's a bit interesting out there at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. They did say ring walks at say start time, not ring walks at 12:30. Which UK time would be in 30 minutes, but there's no way it'll go that long. They'll put it on before that. If they're playing Sweet Caroline, that means we're fairly imminent on.
Sorry, mate. Interesting. Just having a scroll through Twitter, X, whilst we're waiting. A lot of boxing media are talking up that it's going to be Atauma and Huni next, which I do not like for Huni at all. Wow. I do not like Moses Atauma for him at all.
That is incredibly interesting.
I don't like Moses
Atauma just slay all the Aussie heavyweights. Is that just knock out the Aussie heavyweights?
That's the line they're going for.
Yeah, I I don't think it makes sense. It doesn't really make sense for Moses, if I'm being honest.
Step back. It's just
yeah.
Mate, who knows?
It definitely makes no sense for Huni, but I'm not convinced it makes sense for Moses either.
Yeah, look, it's all gone quiet, hasn't it, on him breaking Tyson's record? I think maybe people have realised that putting.
Look, they're not going to take Kubrat Pulev to do that. No one's going to respect that as.
I think a lot of people have realised that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, beating a 43-year-old Pulev, just like you can't rock around parading that you've done Mike Tyson's record. It's just not. He's over double the age of Moses Itauma. But yeah, look, we'll see. I don't like the Huni fight for him, to be honest with you. I think Moses Hrgovic makes sense. It's a risk, but I think Riyadh season can put that fight together, and I think that's a great stepping stone. At the end of the day, and it doesn't work like this, but the math of it is that he bowled out Dempsey McKean in under a round, and Hrgovic stopped him in the 12th. But
I don't think we see Hrgovic fighting again, mate. Sorry, just as we're about to get the ring walks here, I don't think we're going to see Hrgovic fight again. Yeah,
okay, cool. Well, we'll be over on the next stream, guys, for the main event. Join us in 2 minutes. Jai Opetaia, David Nyika. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you shortly.
Cheers, everyone.